Hello and welcome to another GCSE revision video, and in this video we're going to be looking at subtracting fractions. If you've seen the video on adding fractions, then this will not come as any surprise. The question is, why is it we can't just add 1/2 to 1/4 and get 2/6, as in add the numerators and add the denominators? Well, we did look at this. If we look at it visually, you can see a half and you've got a quarter, and it's very clearly 3/4. It's very clearly not 2/6, which is the same as 1/3. And the reason being is because fractions are made up of numerator and denominator. The numerator tells us how many parts we have, and the denominator tells us how many parts make a whole. So if we added the denominators, we'd end up with more parts to make the whole, which actually makes the whole fraction even smaller. So we can't just add the denominators. In the same way, we can't subtract the denominators either. You might want to think of subtraction as just going through addition in reverse. It's kind of like addition in reverse gear, isn't it? You start with the answer, which in this case was 3/4, and you take away the 1/4 and you're left with the half that you start with. In fact, let's have a look at that. So we've got our 3/4, we're subtracting 1/4, we end up with a half. So we're using the same technique that we used for adding fractions, and that is to make the denominators the same and then subtract the numerators. So in this case, let's try subtracting 2/5 from 1/2. So we've got 1/2 and we're taking away 2/5. Remember, with subtraction, it's that which is to the right of the subtraction sign that is taken away from that which is on the left. So on the left is what you've got, and on the right is what you're taking away. Okay, well, there's a famous phrase. It actually comes from the Christian Bible. It says something like, do to others what you would want them to do to you, which sort of paraphrased, it goes something like, treat other people the way you would want to be treated yourself. And let's be honest, what wonderful world it would be if everyone actually did that. But in fractions, you really don't have a choice. Whatever you do to the denominator, you must do the same thing to the numerator, and vice versa. If you do it to the numerator, you must do the same thing to the denominator. Otherwise, it's a different fraction. It's a different number. So with the half, what we did to the 2 was multiply it by 5 to make 10. So what we have to do then is take that 1 and multiply that by 5, so we end up with 1/2 being the same thing as 5/10. And again, with the 2/5, we took the 5 and we multiplied it by 2 to make 10. So what we have to do with the 2 is multiply that by 2, and that makes 4. So 2/5 is the same thing as 4/10. So finally, when we subtract 4/10 from 5/10, we're left with 1/10. Okay, so much for the theory. Let's have a go at putting that into practice. Let's start off with, say, we have 3/4 and we're going to subtract 1/6. Okay, so our first job is to make the denominator the same. 4 times 6 is 24, so let's make everything 24. So 3 times 6 is 18. 1 times 4 is 4. So 18 minus 4 is 14. So 3/4 minus 1/6 is 14 over 24. Now I'm wondering if this can be simplified, so let's break these down into our prime factors. So that's 14 is equal to 2 times 7. 24 is equal to 2 times 12. Well, 7 is a prime number, so it can't be broken down any further. And so the only thing they've got in common is 2, so there's no point in breaking the 12 down any further. So 14 over 24 simplifies to 7/12. So 3/4 minus 1/6 is 7/12. Let's do one more. Let's try 6/7 minus 1/3. I'm just pulling these numbers off the top of my head. It's just random. Okay, so 7 times 3 is 21. So we're going to make everything over 21. So 6 times 3 is 18. 1 times 7 is 7. So 6/7 minus 1/3 is the same as 18/21 minus 7 over 21. So that is equal to 11 over 21. Can that be simplified? Well, 11 is a prime number, and 21 factorizes down to 3 times 7. 3 is a prime number and 7 is a prime number, so there are no common factors to cancel, so this is already in its simplest form. Okay, why don't you think of some fractions and practice adding and subtracting fractions, and good luck with your revision, and I'll see you in a future video.